What's going on, guys? I'm Joe Farewell with Team Radco CLP, and today I'm going to take you through cleaning my concealed carry pistol. Just some ideas of what you need to do to clean yours and what I use for it. Alright guys, today I'm going to clean my concealed carry, but the very first step of cleaning a gun, remove the magazine, take that beautiful G9 external hollow point out of there, and get rid of all of this, because we don't want that thing loaded when we're cleaning the gun. So number one, make sure your gun's empty, make sure it's safe, get rid of the ammo off the table so there's no chance of any accidents happening. Safety is number one. Gun handling rules still apply. Even when I'm handling this, you're not going to see me flagging myself, so be aware of that. Now, your concealed carry you should be maintaining pretty regularly, because as it's up against your skin, you're getting a lot of moisture, humidity, belly button lint, all sorts of nasty crap in this gun. You want to make sure you keep it clean, keep it lubed, and make sure that it's always ready for action should you ever need it. So we're going to take this thing apart. I carry the SIG P365 XL. I haven't gotten to try the SIG Macro yet. I think that's the new SIG. I'm looking forward to that as of the date of filming this. So this is how it comes apart. It's very simple, 4 pieces to clean. And once we get into this, I'm going to show you real quick what I actually use for cleaning. First of all, t-shirt. I just use a plain cotton t-shirt. This is one of my leftovers from the Independence Range Day, which is cool because it has all the sponsors from the Independence Range Day. Thank you guys. I also have my favorite tools of all, which are Popsicle stick and skewer. And the reason why I like these is because they're wooden and they will not mar your gun whatsoever. They're also cheap and you can replace them as you need to. The tip of the skewer is really effective to really get into those nooks and crannies with the t-shirt. And then the popsicle stick is a little bit more solid. You can really push that down into the mag well, push it down into the slide. So that's all I really use. Every once in a while, I'll break out a bore snake. I don't use it very often. Frankly, I don't do a whole lot with my barrels. I will swab it every once in a while, but I shoot a lot, so it's not that necessary unless you get some buildup or you get some wear that you need to take care of. Toothbrush can also come in handy for any like really grimy spots. This is a little grimy right now, so I might hit the back of the feeding ramp, the back of the chamber with that toothbrush. And then the most important part is, of course, what you use to lubricate and clean with. The Radco CLP is a great cleaning, lubricating, and penetrating oil. And Radco is pretty cool because they've been around for a long time and they supply all of our military stuff for special operations, at least the guys that I work with. And they also have a whole other branch that does like freaking missile fluids and all sorts of jet hydraulic fluids. It's pretty rad. So, Radco. I can't even deal with myself. Let's just dive into cleaning this gun. So the first thing I'm going to do is basically just use this spray bottle to hose down all of this carbon buildup on the back of the chamber here and on the slide. All of this carbon, as you shoot, it builds up, and you want to make sure that we knock that off. This will penetrate the carbon and get in there so that it breaks it off and makes it a whole lot easier just to simply wipe off. So now that I've dirtied up this shirt effectively, we're going to go ahead and start wiping some of these things down. I don't do a lot with the spring. Check the spring though. Make sure the spring itself is in good shape. Sometimes these things will crack the spring or the guide rod. So take a peek at that. If you see a lot of grit on there, like if you got this dirty, you got sand in there, you can pull this spring down with one hand and then wipe it with the other hand. So I can take this like this and I'll just push it and wipe the whole guide rod, but it is very tight. You can see there's a little bit of grime on that. I'm not too worried about that. That's not a big deal. I leave the spring and guide rod to itself. With the barrel, I simply wipe off the barrel. And then this is where the grime really builds up, right here on the feed ramp and in the side of this chamber. That is where you can actually cause malfunctions with a buildup, because as a round feeds up from the magazine and hits that feed ramp, if there's a lot of carbon buildup on there, that can actually cause issues for the feeding of the gun. So we want to make sure that that is nice and clean. That's where the toothbrush can come in handy and kind of just brush off that area. With that done, I'm going to go ahead and just run the bore snake through here, because it's been a long time since I've run any bore snake through this. This is real simple. Make sure you're using a 9mm bore snake if you're running a 9mm. And then just pull it through. I'm not going to run this through a whole bunch of times, just one pull through. That is looking clean and shiny. I don't think you can see it through the camera, but it looks pretty freaking good. That CLP knocks off the carbon really quickly, which is great because then you don't have to sit there and scrub it. With the frame, the main things I'm looking for with the frame is I'll actually take a skewer here and run the shirt along the channels of this frame and make sure there's no buildup of dirt or grime inside of here. Once that's done, I'll take my popsicle stick and use it to get some of the bigger areas, get it down here inside the mag well. A lot of times you're gonna find buildup happening like right back here. Make sure you clean that off. Make sure you clean off all the tops of the channels, and then just pay attention to where if you see any areas that you've got worn metal like back here, that's where you've actually got interface with the slide, and we want to make sure that we lube those effectively later. So the frame looks pretty good. It's not super filthy. Make sure we get into all those nooks and crannies. And that looks good to go. So the slide is one of the dirtiest areas of the gun besides the chamber. So this is where we definitely want to pay a little bit of attention to. That's why I like to spray it first and clean it last. That way it gives the CLP a little time to work, to soak in there and start breaking down that carbon. As you can see back here, there's a lot of carbon buildup in this channel. That comes right off. As soon as I start wiping, it comes right off. So if you have any stubborn carbon, spray the CLP on there, let it set for a few minutes, and then scrub away. Now, as you can see, I've been using the popsicle stick to kind of get in the cracks. This right here with the, I'll use the hem of the t-shirt with a, well, first of all, break that off. So quick tip, kind of use the tip of the skewer, break that down so it's not super sharp, and then you can use the hem of the t-shirt right here on the inside of these channels. And that really gets into the corners and it doesn't poke through, so you're just scratching it with the tip of the skewer. Now we can use the shirt with the skewer to really get in those cracks. As you can see, we're getting a lot of crap out of there. And now, just kind of wipe everything down. Make sure, especially with your carry gun, you wipe the outside of the metal, because as sweat builds up on this, you will get corrosion, you can get, rust on this, and you want to make sure that you don't have any of that on your carry gun, eating it away. That's the fastest way to tell if somebody actually takes care of their guns. Like, oh, your carry gun has rust all over it. Your carry mags have rust all over it. You've got crumbs stuffed into the mags with your ammo that's been in there for 6 years. You should probably check and see if it's working well, because frankly, there's a good chance that it's not. So once we get the outside wiped down, we've got all the carbon cleaned out of the inside. All I'm gonna do is add just a touch of oil. And that's where having either this bottle or the little half-ounce bottle comes in handy, because spraying it gets oil everywhere, the CLP everywhere. But using just a little applicator like this is super handy, because what I can do is start with a barrel, put a little drop on top of the barrel here, and a little drop up here, and all I'm gonna do is wipe this around on it. And I don't want a lot. I don't want a whole bunch of lube on here, because what happens if you over lube it is it will actually attract dirt and lint and dust to the gun. So keeping it fairly dry, but obviously we wanna make sure it stays lubed, but keeping it so it's not like dripping is a good thing. Once that barrel goes in, you can see it's super slick, drops right in there. I'm gonna put my recoil spring in, and then same thing with here. I want to put just a little drop on the rails, front and back, where you see the worn metal there. And all I'm going to do is just wipe that on there with my finger. You can wear gloves if you want to. It's probably a good idea. I mean, honestly speaking, wear gloves. Obviously I'm not, but it's not a bad idea. A little bit of oil here on the slide, or on the grooves there. And then we're gonna put this back together, lock it back, lock that into place, and now she's nice and clean. This is where I'm gonna check the outside of the gun, make sure everything is well oiled, but not to the point where it's slippery. I'm gonna wipe off any excess oil, but make sure that everything gets oiled, okay? Any excess oil we wanna have off of there. That way, if you do grab your gun and you need it, you're not sliming it up, you're not sliming your hands up. Otherwise, that right there, my friends, is a clean carry gun, ready to go back into my holster. But thank you guys for tuning in. If you have any questions, shoot me a message, drop a comment down below, hit that thumbs up and a subscribe. check out Radco CLP if you want to get the best lubrication and cleaning product on the market. One product does it all. I love this stuff. You will too, I promise you that. And we're going to be giving some of this stuff away on my Instagram, so check that out as well. Thank you for tuning in, and I'll catch you on the next one.